And we're back for another fun day of filming in Vienna, Austria. So today, I hopefully won't be walking 40,000 steps like I did yesterday. Instead, I'm going to the city center where I'm going to try to visit most of the big attractions there. So that's the museums, the Museum of Natural History, the Museum of, I think it's Art History. I'll also be visiting the Hofburg Palace, which is the Habsburgs' imperial lodgings in the actual city of Vienna. I may take a trip around the Ring Road, which is the road that surrounds the center of the city. That used to be a wall, apparently. You can take the trolley around it. And finally, I'll try to go to the Stephen's Dome, so St. Stephen's Cathedral, and get a tour. That may be a little tricky right now, because for some reason the hours are a little restricted, but yeah, gonna do my best. And sadly, to do that, I'll have to miss out entirely on seeing the opera, but whatever. I've seen the outside of the building a bunch of times. I get it. So, should be a good day. All right, we've officially made it to the museum district. I don't know which museum this is, or which museum that is, but they are definitely museums. Because the yellow building says Museums Court here, so Museum Quarter. It says Alexander the Great up there and Augustus Caesar, so I'm gonna guess history, but I guess we'll find out. I got here a little earlier than I wanted to, so nothing's open yet. Fun rainbow crosswalk. This looks like it's gonna be a pretty fun morning of learning. Looking forward to it. So there it is. It says Museums Court here, Wien, and then there right on the sign is a list of all the different museums you can see. What I don't know is how to find out which exam is which. So there's the other side of the one I was just showing. Once I figure that out, we're golden. So this is the plaza. I think it's between Natural History Museum and the Art Museum. And it is absolutely gorgeous. So I don't know which one's which. Both buildings though, they look super old. I don't know if they're original. Then you got a big monument in the middle of it with a bunch of men in older style clothes on horses. So here's just giving everyone a little better sense of how intricate and ornate this building is. So you can see there's a bunch of little statues all carved into the side of it. Pillars. It's pretty amazing. And then right there it says America and Australia. So apparently America is a super stereotypical Native American. I'm the third person in the museum this morning, so it's still pretty empty. Through the entrance hall, and I'm going to try to follow the general plan that they created here. So they do minerals first, then it goes to dinosaurs, then to actual animals alive today. So I'm going to follow the plan. It's worth noting you can get an audio guide. It costs €5. I just prefer looking around, so doing it my way. But this is the mineral room. Looks like there's some animal skins over there as well. So I ended up caving and buying one of the audio guided tours. It's €5. Definitely makes the exhibits a lot more interesting. So if you're trying to maximize your day here, especially if you're by yourself like me, it's probably good to get. I'd also say bring your own headphones, because otherwise you have to hold it up to your ear like this. You can plug your own headphones in. These are just normal Apple headphones, an audio jack, so definitely do that. But yeah, so probably continue on with more stuff from the museum. Look at this guy, huh? Getting envious of this museum. Bunch of minerals. If you like minerals, the first 3 rooms of this museum are going to be like heaven to you. So this is a big rock salt crystal from Wieliczka, which is in Poland, right near Krakow. It's a place I definitely recommend visiting. They have a huge salt mine you can walk through. That opal in the back there is the most expensive rock in this whole place, apparently. Pretty neat. So this is an entire room for meteorites and space rocks. That's the biggest one. Lots of fossils. Creatures like this always freak me out. Imagine you're swimming, run into this guy. It's a creepy looking fish. You got some complete dinosaur skeletons. This one's a Bradiosaurus, something. And then of course, a Triceratops. Just like that, boom, the meteor hits. All of a sudden, got giant birds and big ass mammals. Moving through history at a very rapid rate. This is the main staircase. So it appears the upstairs mostly focuses on modern day stuff. So this is an ocean exhibit. I know they're fake, but seeing insects this size just gives me the willies. Dana, 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 Dana. America doesn't have a special place. The animal that started the pandemic. Apparently this is a real size of a sea lion, but I gotta tell you, I find that extremely hard to believe. Look at the size of that thing. So I'm not quite done with my tour, but I thought I'd give my synopsis now and my review. So basically you walk through all the stuff downstairs, which is evolutionary, and then up here it's all modern animals that they shot and stuffed or done whatever and stuffed. So they're mostly real animals. Overall, I'd say it's definitely worth the trip. I may not get the audio guide. And I guess my final thought is you can't help but shake the feeling that you're just walking through a zoo where all the animals are already dead. So, I mean, if you don't like zoos and you don't like looking at animals, then this probably isn't for you. But if you're someone who likes zoos but doesn't like the idea of zoos, that is animals being kept in conditions that may not be to their liking, then this is a pretty good compromise, because, I mean, you're mostly seeing same sort of animals you'd see at a zoo in a very condensed and comfortable way. So yeah, Natural History Museum, done. Moving on to some of the historical buildings downtown. All right, so now the initial plan was to go to the Art History Museum, but I just saw what the building looks like in the Natural History Museum. It was great, but been there, done that. Now I'm heading to Cafe Central, which is supposed to be one of the really nice cafes in town. And I'm gonna get some breakfast because it's about 10:30, 11 o'clock here, so it's time to do that. But before that, here's another nice, oh my goodness, another nice building of some sort. I think a museum. And then statue. So it turns out what I thought was just another museum was actually the Hofburg. I hadn't realized how big the building was. Alright, so this is Cafe Central, one of the most famous cafes in Vienna, so I'm gonna try it out. So for the official review of Cafe Central, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. I got the Viennese breakfast, and it was essentially a really good croissant, a nice bread roll, some honey, and a soft-boiled egg. Great, the coffee was very good, the ambiance was amazing, so I definitely recommend it. I believe it was once frequented by Kafka and some other intellectual or writer or something like that, so it's worth checking out. So behind me is the minority church. I don't know what makes it that, but it's a pretty cool looking church. And a little plaza here. In any case, I'm currently on the way, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm going in the right direction today, to the, what does Rathaus translate to? City Hall for Vienna. It's supposed to be a very pretty building. I think there's a restaurant in the basement, though I just ate, so probably shouldn't go check it out. I still might. Ooh, it's bright. But, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'll try to see Parliament. There's some building that says Parliament. I assume it's the Austrian Parliament, so it's a Sunday. It might be hard to get in. Might have to come back tomorrow. You never know with Austria. So over to my right here is the Borg Theater. So I guess Castle Theater. I assume they do plays. I don't know much about it. It's right across from the Rathaus, I believe. So that's what I came to see. It looks like it's under construction though, so to be determined whether I'm going to get to go in or not. Try to find me the government building in the US. It looks like this. It's unbelievable. Look at how beautiful Austria's parliament is, I'd say, if you could really see it. Under big renovations right now though, so no such luck. I'll try to get inside tomorrow. It's not open Sunday. So I meant to go to the Hofburg, but it ended up in the Imperial Armory. So at least it's better than nothing. Oh, that guy was hung. Using a pretty big cup. Considering the fact that I didn't even intentionally buy tickets to this particular museum, I found it to be quite interesting. Got armor from like every time period, every country. Obviously there's a focus on Austro-Hungary, but there's even some Japanese armor back in one of the other rooms. I no longer have any idea where I am in the building, but stumbled upon an entire wing dedicated to old-fashioned. Sorry, I was saying it's dedicated to old-fashioned musical instruments, but I'm not supposed to be recording in a museum. Personal occupies him. Thought it better to end the video. So my accidental trip to the World Museum turned out to actually be pretty fun. It's maybe a little overpriced, but if you have a student card or something like that, definitely check it out. Because I think it's only 12 bucks if you're a student. It's a bit more if you're just a random adult like me, but overall, pretty solid experience. Almost just died. Yeah, now I'm gonna try to figure out how to get into the actual Hofburg, which is my original plan anyway. So, gotta try to figure that out. The issue is this entire building is the Hofburg, right? So, all the way around, it's all part of the same complex of buildings, which makes it very tricky to find the exact one you want. So that behind me, right there, is the Karlskirche. I'll show some footage from inside. But it might be the only free thing in Vienna, so worth checking out. It's in this general area next to the Parliament, which does have a free tour, but not today, and the National Library, which somehow was not free, but so I didn't go in. So this is Ada. It's a chain restaurant in Vienna, but I'm told it's still worth checking out, in spite of the fact it's a chain. Okay, so first things first, gotta say, I think Ada was probably the fairest price. No, fair's in the eye of the beholder. It was the cheapest place I've eaten for a coffee and a cake since I've been in Vienna, so that's something to keep in mind. And like I said, it's a chain, so you can find it in a lot of places. And then behind me, put it in the view, is St. Stephen's Cathedral. I'm gonna try to get in there right now. We'll see if I'm allowed to go and actually explore it this time, or whether I'm just confined to that front area again. So that's the roof. It's very multicolored. Oh, I didn't even notice that before. The Austrian state seal. And then awesome view of Austria. Always gives me anxiety to hold expensive electronics in places like this. Afraid something's gonna drop out of my pocket and it'll be gone forever. So those are the views from the North Tower. South Tower's closed right now. I don't know when it's gonna be reopened. I believe it's under construction, and the church itself was closing for a concert, but hopefully you got a sense of it, generally speaking, from the video I took from the front part of it. I mean, I got clips from last night, so when it was at night, and today as well, so it gives a pretty good idea of what the overall cathedral's like. In terms of where I'd rank it among churches I've seen, I'd say number one is still Notre Dame de Strasbourg in Strasbourg, France, but this was definitely at least a competitor for the top spot, so highly recommend it. Even if you're just doing, like I did, the tower, it's worth the money for sure. So this is the Kapuzinergraft. I believe it's a burial ground or grave for some members of the royal family, so I'm gonna go check it out. So my review of the Kapuzinergraft. Check it out, it's pretty cool. You get to see where Franz Josef is buried. I didn't take any videos from inside because they asked me not to. I thought it was probably bad juju to be taking a bunch of videos with corpses anyway. I did take a few pictures I'll put in. But the other thing I forgot to add earlier is that the word Cappucciner, actually, where we get the word cappuccino. So you'd think it's an Italian drink, but it was actually brought there by the Austrians. So, just a fun fact. That right there is the Albertina. It's another art museum, but not going in. I feel like I did my due diligence on art museums going to the Belvedere. There are a few cool things out front though. So, there's a statue of Franz Josef, one of the last Kaisers. And over there is the Opera House. And it's worth noting you have to walk upstairs to get to this, but and you can look down over this square, so it's worth it to go up one flight of stairs. And I'm sure the museum inside is amazing and beautiful and can be described in glowing terms by any fan of art, but that's not me, so I'm not gonna blow the money. So last but certainly not least of the sights I'm gonna be seeing today is my second attempt at seeing the Karlskirche, so the Karlskirche. Hopefully there'll be no riots this time and I'll get to see it. So, all right, here's the Karlskirche. There's a giant reflective ball in the middle of it. It's under some renovation right now, but bunch of little stalls to the side. So this is the inside of one of the little stalls outside the church. So I took a lift up to the top of the dome. It's about the coolest thing I've seen today. There you go, look out the window over Vienna at night. Oh, that's cool. There's a little, looks like griffin on the church. Over there is St. Stephen's Cathedral. What are the other landmarks we've seen? I think those are the museums over there. I'll say this church, 100% worth the money. This is one of the better sights I've seen today, I think. So that was the final landmark of day 2, Karlskirche. I might go to a bar after this that's somewhat scenic. If I do, I'll probably record that. If not, then that's totally it for, what am I saying? This is day 1, day 2, whatever. My second full day, my 3rd day here. And yeah, tomorrow morning I'll get up, hopefully get some shots of Parliament and the City Hall, and after that I'm out of here. So thanks for staying tuned.